Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Julia. I'm a 16-year-old youth advocate and intersectional feminist from Washington, D.C. I've been involved with Girl Up since 2017. I was a part of the 2019 to 2020 Team Advisor class, and I am now the co-chair, or one of the co-chairs, for the 2020 to 2021 class. I'm so excited to be with Aya and Melissa today.
Hi everyone, my name is Aya Laga and I'm 18 years old from Salamia, Syria. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I joined Girl Up as a teen advisor in the class of 2019-2020, and then I became the founder and president of Girl Up RIS and the co-founder of Girl Up Syria, and I'm also an active member of Girl Up Arab World Coalition. I am thrilled to be moderating this panel. This is Not a Man's World, along with my fellow teen advisor, Laura Julia, and I'm very excited to be a part of the 2020 Global Leadership Summit.
We are so excited to introduce you to Melissa, who is the fearless leader as well as executive director of Girl Up. Melissa is an amazing role model who I fortunately have had the opportunity to know for the past few years. I actually met Melissa with my dad at a restaurant when I was in 7th grade, and she inspired me to become a part of Girl Up and to get as involved as I have. I'm so inspired by Melissa, and basically every time we talk, I leave so obsessed with Girl Up and I do all this research. It's fabulous. So we're so lucky today because she's going to be sharing her wisdom and her experiences with us.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. I can't wait to get started.
So I think we'll get right into our questions.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. In this panel, we will be examining what it means to be a female leader in this space. And because we know that self-reflection is critical for leadership development, we have come here today with some questions that you asked on how to become better leaders. So the first question we have says this year, Girl Up is celebrating 10 years. What are you proud of in the first 10 years, and what are your goals for the next 10 years of Girl Up?
Thanks so much for the question. I mean, 10 years is it's such a beautiful milestone. And I think that this event in and of itself is just such a testament to how much we've grown in 10 years. So I'm obviously proud of that. But first and foremost, I've had this incredible front row seat to see from our Girl Up leaders over the last decade, what they have done with this work, starting nonprofits, making their universities safer, introducing bias-free hiring policies at their work, inventing things. It's really been just so incredible. And plus, you've all been just inspiring each other along the way. I'm also really proud of the evolution of Girl Up. We're not the same initiative that started 10 years ago. We started as a fundraising campaign, then we took on advocacy, and now Girl Up really is truly about being activists, being active activists in the fight for gender equality. The world has changed a lot in 10 years, and so have teen girls, but so has Girl Up, and that's something I'm really proud of. My goals for the next 10 years, I think, is just to really build on this global movement and to ensure that every club in every corner of the world can have the same experience, can be a part of this movement, and can make real change in their communities. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, and my real goal is that we've actually moved the needle on gender equality and that she is not having this exact same conversation 10 years from now. That's my goal.
Yeah, it's so amazing to see how much Girl Up has grown in these past few years. The fact that there's 30,000 people who are attending the summit is just so incredible. Our next question is, what drives your passion for Girl Up, and how do you define a leader?
I so believe that no girl should be told that she can't make a difference or that she doesn't matter just because she's a girl. I remember feeling this inherently when I was young. Being loud, speaking over the boys in class didn't really buy me any popularity, but I knew my intelligence, I had a lot of confidence, and I really sat with that. I wish that was celebrated more, right? And I've also seen that as a professional, getting talked over or mansplained to, even when you are the leader of a global movement, it's just not something that I'm okay with. And, I just want to make sure that all the girls that I see around the world and all of their potential, that they never feel like, they shouldn't be listened to or they shouldn't be prioritized because they're a girl. That's really what my job is all about. And that's really where my passion comes from. A leader to me is someone who can grow and evolve. knowing when you have to adapt, not just yourself, but your organization, that's really important. And our evolution, like I mentioned, is something that I'm really proud of. And we're going through actually evolution right now. We're in the middle of COVID-19, and we are also, battling this brutality of systemic racism that's affecting our Girl Up Club's members around the world. And so we have to evolve, whether it's exploring new ways to connect virtually like this amazing summit, or looking at ways to accelerate our own work for racial justice within Girl Up. I know the importance of continuing to lead an organization to make sure that we are reaching every girl and that we can support all of our members. And we have to evolve to do that. So I think that's a really, really important aspect of leadership. Personally, I aspire to be a leader that listens, that can reflect and learn, and really lean into that evolution. I want to make sure that I can inspire with my humanity, being vulnerable, being my authentic self. My advice to you is, as a leader, always be human in your leadership and really try to be yourself.
Thank you so much for that.
You are absolutely right. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Our next question is from Salome from Girl Up TCS, and her question says, how can we dispel the women versus women complex, and how can we encourage sisterhood?
Yeah, I love this question because that's really what this community is all about, right? I think that when we are generous with each other as women, our collective light as women shine brighter. We are arguing with men to let us have a seat at the table, that when you have both men and women at the table, everyone benefits. And I think the same is true, is the more women at the table, the better, right? This isn't a zero-sum game. And I think when it comes down to it, we're all passionate. We may not always agree. Sometimes there might be hurt, but anytime that I've worked in partnership, or when I've used my platform to amplify another woman, I've really been better for it. And I really just think that when you use your light to shine on someone else's, it doesn't diminish yours, but it makes us all brighter. I think this summit is a really great example of that.
I've always loved how Girl Up really encourages us to uplift other girls, whether it be in our own communities or globally. And that's been one of my favorite things about being a part of Girl Up. Our next question is from Ariana from Alpharetta Girl Up. And she says, as a leader, was there a time when you realized you needed to change your approach to leading a group? If so, what advice would you give to Girl Up leaders and leaders in general about finding the best ratio of relatability as well as authority?
Yeah, no, I think this is such a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is when I first started leading teams, I was really task oriented. I'm a doer. I really like to get stuff done. And as an early manager, I focused really too much on executing to get to the goal and not enough on the team, on what they needed from me. Once I realized that the team was actually the most important part of accomplishing any goal, I transitioned from being a task manager to a people champion, to a coach, to a mentor. And truly the success, and I think my own leadership just really transformed from there. People are really the most important part, and our team truly is the most important part. When I embraced that, it changed everything. The other thing that I realized recently, as I transitioned back to being a solo executive director, as my partner Anna moved into a new role, is that I really needed to be more vulnerable, to let my team see that I was a little bit overwhelmed, and to ask for grace and patience. Instead of doubting me, they rallied to support me. And every time, every moment that I show my true human self, that has strengthened my leadership. So don't be afraid to be human. I think that's really important.
That's definitely such good advice that I can definitely relate to in my club. Definitely, I feel sometimes overwhelmed, and I've had to work on talking to my club members and just letting them know that I might need a little extra assistance planning meetings or things like that.
Aya, do we have another question?
Well, our last question for this panel is from Rima from Taylor Academy, and she asks, what were some obstacles that you had to face to achieve your success, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I can think of two obstacles, age and self-doubt. I stepped into this role with Girl Up pretty young, and I had to really work hard to be trusted, to build confidence. But I never backed down and I never gave up, especially in the moments of, I think, the greatest challenge. And I remember being applauded actually by UN Foundation's CEO at the time, Kathy Calvin. And she said, you really are persistent. And I said, yeah, I'm going to lean into that. And I think sheer persistence has been something that I've taken with me, through that obstacle. The other real thing that I've faced is my own self-confidence as a leader. I share this often, but, imposter syndrome almost got the best of me. It's really hard to inspire others when you are doubting yourself and unsure of yourself, if you're not feeling worthy or deserving of the role. But that feeling was really the most significant barrier standing in my way. Once I actually saw myself as a leader, I never looked back. I just kept leading. And I see that in all of you. Once we see ourselves as the leaders that we are, no one can ever take that away from us.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for your leadership.
Aya, do you have any parting words? Oh, I think you're on mute, Aya. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing your wisdom with us. We love talking with you, and I'm sure that the girls and their club will be able to learn so much and grow so much from the words you shared with us today.
Thank you both so much. Have a great summit, everybody.